goes Arthur Ashe now, leading off with the first serve for the championship. Richmond, Virginia, 25 years old. Arthur Ashe, 15 days ago, won the national amateur title in Boston. Now he's trying to win the Open. And he's got it!
One thing Arthur Ashe taught me was that everyone is your neighbor. Everyone you come in contact is your neighbor. It might not be physically that they're a neighbor, although neighborhoods are important. And he treated people as being valuable no matter where they lived. It was interesting to see him when he would meet people, and everybody wanted to meet Arthur Ashe once he became well known, but his interest was in getting to know them rather than in letting them know him. I was embarrassed that I had not met Arthur, and I knew why I hadn't met him when I saw the color of his skin. It all of a sudden made segregation not a concept, but it became personal. It was an individual that face to face from my own hometown, and somebody who'd been playing tennis the same area as I had, but just miles away, but we had never crossed paths. Well, one of the first things that I noticed was how gracious Arthur was and how welcoming he was to me. He said, "Hey, I've been reading about you in the Richmond Times-Dispatch." Of course, I never read about him because the Richmond Times-Dispatch didn't cover black sports. He said, "My father actually cuts grass sometimes on the street where you live. I know where your house is." And he said, "When we get back to Richmond, maybe we could hit together. I'll talk to my dad and you talk to your parents when we get back to Richmond, and we'll see whether we can work out playing together." And they said, "Well, where would you play?" "You can't play at Bird Park because it's whites only." And I said, "Well, I don't know, but maybe we'll talk to Mr. Ashe." And so Mr. Ashe and my parents talked, and Mr. Ashe, among other things, was working for the city of Richmond, caretaking the black park called Brookfield. My parents agreed, which in retrospect was quite something for them to do, because it really wouldn't have been a very happy thing for people to know we'd played together, but they were willing to take that risk. And Mr. Ashe was willing to take that risk, that he wouldn't get in trouble with the city of Richmond if they found out that there was a white person on the black park. So Johnny, who's the younger brother of Arthur, said that I integrated Brookfield, which is kind of a joke. He was also somebody that didn't want his struggle to be my struggle. He protected me from his hurt and his pain when things happened racially to degrade him when I was around him. And he never really wanted to put that on anyone, but at the same time, he wanted you to understand what was going on. Well, Arthur died in February of 1993. Not too long after, maybe 6 months afterwards his death, I got a call from a lady who was running Virginia Heroes, and she said, "Would you be willing to work with Virginia Heroes on an effort to honor Arthur?" And it became a battle royale between the people who thought for one reason or another that it shouldn't be there, and then those of us who were dedicated to Monument Avenue and getting it erected. It was a contentious period of time. It actually took us about 3 years to get it done. His statue was actually unveiled on his birthday, July the 10th, 1996. He had two forces he looked up to, God and his father. He didn't want to disappoint either one. His favorite verse was Hebrews 12:1. And the statue itself, that scripture is on the front, on the pedestal, and up above he's got children looking up at him, and he is a role model, and he is holding strongly in his right hand, up above his head, books, and then down below he's got this tennis racket down there. And I think that he always knew that someone was watching. And certainly he understood his relationship to God and to humanity. Arthur was disturbed by society's emphasis on sports, sometimes ahead of education. He wanted to leave that message. I mean, he knew when this statue was being put together that this was going to be something that people could see and something that young people would go visit. But that monument, that statue, has a message that as long as it's there, people can see, and it's a timeless message.